What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl, Noni Juice, and welcome to Brain Squeeze, your go-to drop of juice for what is happening right now. And happy Friday! We made it to another end of the week, you guys. So you already know what that means. It means I have to give you guys the weekly squeeze, like a weekly rundown of some of the hottest topics and conversations that happened during the week, but we didn't get to it because it was just so much other juice that was being dropped, so much other juice that was being spilled that we had to talk about. But now here on Friday, for the weekly squeeze, we are going to get into all of it. And I'm so glad that you guys tapped into the episode today. And to be honest, y'all have really been tapping into my episodes a lot lately. And so I just feel so good to know that I'm getting more downloads, I'm getting more exposure to new audiences, and you guys are not only listening to the episodes that I'm putting out there, but you really are rocking with me. Like, you're coming back to listen to the other things that I have been putting out, and I really do appreciate every single last one of you who do listen to the podcast. And also, I really appreciate everybody who reached out to me from that Kaylani episode I did when I told you guys that I was thinking about putting on a live event for Brain Squeeze and have a live recorded episode event that I bring people out to. And, you know, we kind of take the internet conversations offline and really have the conversations in person. And some of you did reach out to me and tell me that you would love to come to an event that I do. So that really warmed my heart as well, because I just know that y'all are listening. Like, sometimes when podcasters, especially when they're first starting off, we can't really tell if people are truly resonating with what we're saying or if they are, you know, listening for real. Because yeah, we might see the downloads, but if nobody ever talks to us about the topics that we talk about, or they reach out to let us know like, hey, I really like the episode, or here's some feedback or whatever, it can sometimes feel like you're literally talking to nobody. Because, you know, I do this from my house, so I'm literally just talking out into space, and I'm sure people walking past my apartment are probably like, who is this girl talking to, yapping to, into just air, you know? So I really do appreciate when y'all hit me up and just let me know how y'all are feeling about the things that I'm talking about. So keep doing that, keep listening, and I really appreciate that. But listen, y'all, so this episode specifically, if you have been an audio listener this whole time, I'm actually recording this with a video camera. So this episode right now is on video right now. So if you go to my YouTube, well, for the people who are watching on YouTube, y'all are already looking at it. But for the people who are just listening on the audio, make sure you guys head to my YouTube channel at Carrie Noni, or you could look up Noni Juice, I'm sure. But honestly, if you look up Noni Juice, you might get a bunch of fruit juices and people being all health and wellness and all that other stuff. Because if you didn't know, Noni is actually a fruit and it's very good for you, a lot of health benefits. But you can watch this episode on my YouTube channel. I really want to try to just put more videos out there on my channel, because as much as I love being in my little bubble of, you know, having just the audio for the podcast, eventually I do want to branch off and do more video content of the episodes that I do, so I can really connect with you guys. And not only that, but the people watching can put down comments and you guys can talk with one another and almost form like a little community too, so to speak. So I want to attempt, now do not hold me to this because sometimes I got Brewers games and everything like that, but I want to, if I can, do more of my weekly squeeze episodes on camera. So I at least am putting out like a weekly video or like a bi-weekly video on my channel. So if you are listening to the audio, make sure you guys subscribe. And if you are watching me right now, make sure you guys subscribe and come back for more of the juice. Okay, more of the girl. But this week for me, I am so glad that Friday is here. I cannot lie to y'all, because this week has tried me. And I'm not going to get into everything right now as to why I got tried this week, but best believe one of these days we're going to have to get into it, because, man, the way I just had to, sometimes you really just have to tell somebody how you feel, and you really got to just stick up for yourself, especially if it's something that you have never done before with a certain group of people, and you finally are sticking to your guns, okay, standing on 10 toes about how you feel about some things. And sometimes people are not going to understand it, and you kind of just have to part ways with them and let them do what they want to do. But one thing I will say, and I guess my drop of juice for today is going to be, stick to your boundaries. Okay, if you feel like somebody is disrespecting you, do not allow them to continue to disrespect you. You need to let them know how you truly feel, especially if you never had really let them know how you felt before. Because if they really truly do care about you in the relationship, they're going to make it right. And if they really hurt you or disrespected you, and even if they didn't know it and you let them know and they care to keep the relationship going, or they care for you and just love you as a person, they're going to make it right. They are. So stick to your boundaries. And if people cannot stick to your boundaries and they can't respect you, unfortunately, you might just have to move on. And ain't nothing wrong with that. So that's what I'll give y'all for right now. That's the drop of juice for today, you guys. But I'm excited that it's Friday. I might be going to the state fair today. I'm crossing my fingers that I do end up going, because shout out to them. They sent me a cute PR box and it was so adorable. I unboxed it on my Instagram story. So make sure you guys are following me there as well at @CarrieNoni_, because State Fair gave me a PR box, and inside of it I had like some cotton candy that they gave me, but they also gave me some general admission tickets to come in, a parking pass. They gave me passes for the Sky Glider, passes for the Giant Slide. They gave me passes, or tickets, I guess I should say, for the big like Ferris wheel, or whatever you want to call it. Is it a Ferris wheel? I think so. The thing that's like goes like this, not the one with the horses and stuff, but yeah, like the little wheel or whatever you want to call it. And also they gave me a little like their Sporkies and Drinkies like passport. So with that passport, I get to try all of the foods that were on their Sporkies and Drinkies list. I get to try it for free, y'all. So and they also gave me a really cute JBL speaker, a speaker that has like this like cute pink color on the front of it. But yeah, shout out to the State Fair. I'm hopefully gonna go do that today, since it's not raining, and I think the rest of the weekend is gonna rain, and I'm not going to State Fair in the rain. Like, that's just not what's gonna happen, and this is the last weekend to go, so hopefully I can do that. But I did want to make sure that I attempted to put out a video here for the weekly squeeze, so I had to record it for all my juicies out there, But you guys, enough of me yapping. I hope you guys had a great week as well, and you're gonna have a really great weekend. But we got some things to discuss, so let's just get right into the juice. Okay, so let me pull up my phone so we can talk about the things going on. Okay, what's the first thing that I want to talk about for the juice this weekly squeeze? Is it going to be a sweet squeeze, or is it going to be a sour squeeze? Let's see. Well, honestly, I'm going to start with a sour squeeze first, because Russell Westbrook, let me get his name right. Russell Westbrook, he announced his retirement this week from the NBA after 18 long seasons, you guys. This came as a shock to so many people online, because they had no idea that he was even about to retire, especially, I guess you could say, on his own terms like this. And that's kind of what I want to clear up. But Russell Westbrook has announced his retirement from the NBA after 18 seasons. He shared the news this week on Wednesday, accompanied by a visual highlighting his career over the years. In the visual, it was narrated by Michael B. Jordan, and Russell Westbrook is shown watching highlights from his past 18 seasons. According to ESPN, sources told Shams that Westbrook had offers from the Sacramento Kings and Washington Wizards, but decided to step away from the league on his terms. Westbrook was the first-round, 4th overall pick in the 2008 NBA draft. He was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics, which became the Oklahoma City Thunder that same year. He stayed with the organization until 2019 and went on to play for other teams, including the Rockets, Wizards, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, and Kings. And I read that off of the Shade Room. But yeah, it's so sad to see Russell Westbrook go. Not only because he's like a legend in the game, but I think it's because people really look at a lot of the older veteran players in the league right now as their childhood. And so when they eventually leave the NBA, it feels like a piece of their childhood is just like gone, you know? And there aren't that many people in the league still that a lot of us millennials got to watch when we were younger. And you know, we got LeBron, he's the oldest one in the game right now. We still got Steph Curry, which he's getting up there too. You got Russell Westbrook. But there was a post that I saw of people listing like the ages of some of the current players that we have now, and they are getting up there in age. Some of them have had injuries and they don't really play the same, and you can kind of feel like they might be headed on their way out of the league as well. But Russell Westbrook is definitely one of those players that people just admire him, admire his game, and just how long he has been in the NBA. So it's always going to be sad whenever someone like that leaves the league. And if I'm being honest with you, like back then, I feel like we millennials we feel very close to a lot of the players because we connected with their storyline, we connected with their hustle, we connected with the fact that some of them literally came from the mud, like they had nothing and they were able to make it to the NBA. And I think we resonated with that. And now with a lot of these new players, I don't really think we feel as connected to them as how we do some of the older players from like the early 2000s, you know? And so it's sad to see Russell go, but I'm a little confused why so many people are like upset a little bit, because I've been seeing a lot of conversations on like Instagram and on Threads, and people are like going in on the NBA and going in on the fans because they're like, Russell Westbrook deserved more. Like he deserved to be able to go out like a legend. He deserved to be able to have like a, what do they call, like a farewell tour, and he deserved. And while I agree with all of that, for this instance specifically, I think Russell left on his own terms, if that's what I'm reading correctly. Like he had some offers to 2 other teams and he decided not to go with those teams because maybe he's just ready to be done, you know, like maybe he didn't want to be with those 2 teams. And so I don't think it's anything to be mad at the league for or even at the fans for. I think people definitely appreciate and respect Russell Westbrook and everything that he brought to the game. And I think we can just kind of leave it at that, you know, like, okay, he's deciding to leave when he wants to leave. I think that's more so the great part of it all, is he did leave on his own terms. He did have some offers and he just didn't want to go with them. And, you know, I respect his decision for sure. But I think some people are kind of scarred from CP3 and how, I forgot what team it was, but how they ended up doing him and how he just ended up, you know, not being with the team and just ended up leaving the league how he did. I think people felt like he was done wrong. And so now with Russell Westbrook leaving as well, I think it's a mixture of things, but I don't understand why so many people are trying to say that he deserved more. Like maybe they're saying he deserved a ring, which, you know, he did, but I don't know. He wants to go when he wants to go. So I'm just going to let him go and say thank you for all that you put in. But yeah, shout out to Russell Westbrook. We appreciate you, my brother. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Is this going to be a sweet squeeze or a sour squeeze today? You know, this is going to be a sweet squeeze. We got to do a sweet one. So Chick-Fil-A is finally adding chicken and waffles to its menu. So starting August 24th, Chick-fil-A will roll out its new chicken and waffle sandwich nationwide for a limited time. It features a chicken fillet between 2 maple flavored waffles with bacon, honey butter, and syrup. The fall menu will also include a new s'mores milkshake and a s'mores frosted coffee made with chocolate, graham cracker, and marshmallow flavors. So they're saying that they do have 2 different sizes. So there's going to be like a breakfast size that people can get for the chicken and waffles, which I think the breakfast one might not come with the bacon on it and it might be a little smaller. Don't hold me to that. And then they have the regular one that you could buy during any time, and I think it has the bacon, and you know, it can come with your fries, whatever side that you kind of want for it. But that makes so much sense to me. Like, come on now, Chick-fil-A. Who doesn't love chicken and waffles? And if anybody were to have a really bomb chicken and waffle sandwich, I think that it would be Chick-fil-A, because to me, their chicken patties, or chicken fillets, let me not call them chicken patties, but their chicken fillets that they have, while I do feel like they tasted a little bit healthier back in the day, like I don't know what they did to like switch it up, but they got a bomb chicken fillet, like chicken piece, you know, chicken thigh, chicken breast, whatever it is you want to call it. And then to think about them having the like waffle type bun with the syrup in it, and like I can only imagine. I can't wait to go up there and have it for breakfast one of these days. Probably not as soon as it comes out, because the lines are probably going to be ridiculous, but it makes a lot of sense to me as to why Chick-fil-A would have a chicken and waffle sandwich. So I'm curious to know, is that something that you guys will want to try? I wonder if I could show y'all a picture of it. This is one of the reasons why you should probably watch the episode on YouTube, because I can show y'all pictures from my phone. But yeah, I just showed a picture of what it looks like. Seems like it would be good. And honestly, I wouldn't mind trying that s'mores milkshake, because if y'all didn't know this about me, I am a milkshake connoisseur. I love me a good milkshake, and not one made from custard. I'm not really the biggest fan of custard. I'm more of an ice cream girly. So if you make a milkshake with ice cream, you already got me. Like, Potbelly has an amazing milkshake. I don't know if you guys have a, what is it? Steak and Shake where you're at, but Steak and Shake has a really good milkshake. That's really what I like right there. So yeah, make sure you guys try it out and let me know what you think. Okay, so this next story, y'all, it's actually a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a little crazy of what's going on, but I found it while I was just scrolling, you know, on these pop culture sites. And it has to do with a woman who is pregnant. She's a surrogate mom, I guess you would call it. I don't have the right verbiage for it, but she was a surrogate for a couple who wanted to have a baby. Let me actually just read it to y'all so I don't get nothing wrong on this one. Okay, so McKenna West, a surrogate mom, has welcomed a baby named Gabriel after the child's biological parents demanded an abortion upon learning that the child would immediately be born with a heart defect. Gabriel was diagnosed in the uterus at around 20 weeks with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which is a serious heart condition that would require multiple surgeries. However, it is treatable, which is why the surrogate was trying to save the life of the fetus that she was carrying. So the parents of this baby wanted her to have an abortion after they found out that the baby had this heart defect. But reasonably, the woman carrying the child did not want to have an abortion. She wanted to try to save the baby and not just kill it off, you know, since biologically hers or not. That's what she wanted to do. But on Wednesday, August 12th, the single mom from Alaska, she gave birth after fleeing to Texas. So this woman left with their baby to Texas because they are saying that, I forgot which one it was. I forgot if it was she went to Texas because it would protect her from not being forced to have an abortion, or did she go to Texas because certain doctors who are experts in the surgeries that this baby needed, like I think that they might have been in Texas at a specific hospital. Not sure which one it was. I've heard both stories, but the woman went from Alaska and flew all the way to Texas to have this baby. And so she had the baby this week. And now the parents are wanting the baby back. Like, the parents are like, okay, you had the baby. It's still our baby. Like, that's my sperm. That's my egg. It's my baby. We don't want you around no more. Because now, lady, you done flee to Texas. You left Alaska, flee to Texas, had this baby, even though we told you we didn't want you to have a baby no more, our surrogate or not. And now I guess it's a whole lot of drama going on, because now the surrogate mom, she wants to keep the baby for herself. Like, she wants to be the mother of the child. it's getting real crazy. It's getting real crazy. So now the surrogate mom, or I guess that's what you would call her, McKenna West, she is now preparing for a legal fight over the baby after she refused to terminate the pregnancy upon the biological parents' wishes. So now the biological parents have custody of the newborn and obtained a temporary restraining order against McKenna West, preventing her from having contact with the baby or making parental and medical decisions. McKenna West's attorneys argued that because she gave birth in Texas, she should be considered the child's legal mother. So now they're preparing to fight the case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. The baby is currently receiving medical care in Dallas and is expected to undergo surgeries for his heart condition. West calls the baby Gabriel, that's what the surrogate mother named him, but the biological parents have named him Rumi. So a hearing in the ongoing legal battle is reportedly scheduled for August, but that's crazy. That's absolutely nuts because legally, if you were just the surrogate, then technically that's their baby. Like, you can't have the baby now just because you gave birth to it. And I kind of understand what she's trying to say, because it's like, why do they get to keep their baby when they told me to abort the baby? They didn't even want the baby because of the heart defect. And I don't know to the extent of how well the progress and life of the baby will be with this condition that the baby had. Like, I'm not sure if after the surgeries the baby will be fine, or will this child need ongoing care for the rest of his life. I feel like it's the latter, which is why the parents wanted to give up the baby. But now that the baby is here, I'm sure the surrogate mother is kind of like, are y'all even going to take care of this child? Because if you didn't want to have the baby in the first place because it was going to have these conditions, that just doesn't go away now that the baby is here. And so she probably feels like, well, if you didn't want to take care of the baby originally when you knew that it was going to have these issues, why all of a sudden are you going to try to take care of it now? I, if anything, care more about this baby than y'all do, because I wanted to make sure the baby still had an opportunity to have a life. Y'all didn't want that. And they tried to get her to have an abortion, which is like, my body, my choice. She was not obligated to have an abortion for this family or for this couple. So now they're suing her for, I believe, like $250,000 or something like that, because that might have been the cost of like maybe delivery and even just the process of the surrogacy when they didn't want to have the baby anymore. But also now they have this restraining order on this woman because she's trying to fight for custody. It's getting crazy. But I did see, or should I say it's getting juicy, but I did see in the comments of this post that somebody said, which, you know, people really be going down the rabbit hole with their conspiracies. I don't really be into all the conspiracies and things like that, but somebody in the comments said, I feel like she always intended to do this so that the Supreme Court could make a nationwide ruling over surrogacy, because as it stands, there are a lot of gray areas. Conservatives are absolutely behind this and have been for a while. It's part of their larger push to control women's bodies. Now, a lot of people like that comment that this woman made. I'm not going to say that she's right or not, but I'm just throwing it out there that this is what some people are thinking. Also, somebody said this is going to make surrogacy harder for families now, breaking the contract and fighting for custody over my blood. The F. Yeah, people were on her side at first when it came to her not wanting to have the abortion, period, because like I said, her body, her choice. But now that she's trying to fight for custody of this child, people are not with that, because they're like, listen, you might have had the baby against our wishes, but at the end of the day, this is our child. This is my egg. This is my sperm. This is our baby. This is what we signed up for originally when it came to this surrogacy and this pregnancy and all of this stuff. So now that the baby is here, we're going to take care of it. So I don't know. What do y'all think about that? I told y'all it was going to be a messy story. I have never heard of this in my entire life, but I do feel like these lines need to be addressed, because when you have like gray areas for situations like this, it can get messy real fast. So I do think that from this situation, certain rules are going to be made, but I just don't know what those rules are going to be. But yeah, those gray areas really are like, they're tricky. They're tricky to figure out, but I'm gonna keep y'all updated on what happens, because if she ends up getting custody of the baby, that's gonna be wild. Because that's not even, that baby don't even have her DNA. Like, what? I don't know. That's weird. That's crazy. It's crazy. I don't care what nobody say. But I'm gonna get to the last weekly squeeze topic for today, and I really don't know where I want to go with this, but I just feel like I need to mention it because it was something that really bothered me and my fiance this week. And it has to do with Essence magazine coming up with their 50 greatest R&B songs of all time. And this has created so much discussion online, you guys. It's actually kind of crazy how people are going back and forth with the top 50 that Essence ended up, rolling out, and what they decided for their top 50 R&B songs of all time. Like, of all time, if you're going to do something of all time, you got to be accurate. Okay, you definitely have to be accurate with that. But at the same time, I understand why they do it. I believe I talked about this before when some platform had created their top producers, I think they had, and people were like going back and forth about that. Like, this is exactly what Essence wants us to do, is to go back and forth about it and to share it, come up with our own lists and say they were wrong or say they were right, because at the end of the day, they really don't care how y'all feel. Their job was to make you feel something, and they did if you felt some type of way about their list. But I'm going to tell you this list, and I don't know if I'm going to tell you every single song on this list, because there are 50 of them, but some of the recognizable ones to me, because they have rolled this out like over at least the last week or two, because they didn't put it out all at one time, and so we all were kind of anticipating what was the number one song going to be. And even the number one song that they picked could be debatable, all right? But just to hit on a few that they did put in here, they have Kehlani song Folded at number 48 on this list. They have, I see Escape is on here, Who Can I Run To at 47, Genuine, So Anxious at 46, Kiki White. Should I just do the whole rundown of all the songs? I'm going to just do the whole rundown, but I'm going to do it fast. Okay, so at 50, they have Jesse Powell, You. 49, they have Groove Theory, Tell Me. 48, they have Kehlani Folded. 47, they have Escape, Who Can I Run To. At 46, they have Genuine, So Anxious. 45, they have Kiki Wyatt and Avant, Nothing in This World. At number 44, they have En Vogue, Don't Let Go. At 43, they have The Dell, Two Occasions. I think that's how you say it. 42, they have Ari Lennox, New Apartment. At 41, they have Frank Ocean, Thinking About You. At 40, they have Keisha Cole, Love. At 39, they have Monica, Why I Love You So Much. At 38, they have Aaliyah, One in a Million. 37, Zapp, Computer Love. 36, Faith Evans, Soon As I Get Home. 35, Jill Scott, The Way. 34, Drew Hill, We're Not Making Love. At 33, they have Toni Braxton, Love Should Have Brought You Home Last Night. 32, they have Isley Brothers, For the Love of You. At 31, they have Patti LaBelle, If Only You Knew. At 30, they have Usher, Superstar. 29, Brandy, Have You Ever. 28, New Edition, Can You Stand the Rain. 27, Babyface, Whip Appeal. 26, Erykah Badu, On and On. 25, Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing. 24, Lenny Williams, 'Cause I Love You. 23, LTD, Love Ballad. 22, they have Beyonce, Dangerously in Love. At 21, they have Al Green, Let's Stay Together. At 20, they have Michael Jackson, Heaven Can Wait. At 19, at 19, they have Jodeci, Forever My Lady. At 18, they have Janet Jackson, I Get So Lonely. 17, Mary J. Blige, Not Gonna Cry. 16, Tone, Anniversary. 15 is Fantasia, When I See You. 14 is Teddy Pendergrass, Love TKO. At 43, they have Sade, No Ordinary Love. At 42, they have Mariah. What do I keep saying 44? These numbers on this post look like a 4. If I've been saying 4, I meant 13. Okay, at number 12, they have Mariah Carey, We Belong Together. At number 11, they have Anita Baker, Sweet Love. At number 10, they have Lauryn Hill and D'Angelo, Nothing Even Matters. Number 9, we in the top 10, y'all. Number 9, we got Earth, Wind, and Fire, Reasons. At 8, they have SWV, Weak. At 7, they have Luther Vandross, Never Too Much. 6, Donny Hathaway, A Song for You. 5, they have Frankie Beverly and Maze, Before I Let Go. At number 4, they have Prince, Adore. At number 3, they have Whitney Houston, I Have Nothing. Number 2 is Tevin Campbell, Can We Talk? And drum roll for number 1. Since I don't have a drum, I don't even know if y'all can hear that. I'm smacking my leg for those listening on the audio. But number 1, they have Stevie Wonder, As. That was the top 50 greatest R&B songs of all time, compiled by Essence. And everybody's been talking about it all week long. Like, in my opinion, did they get some songs correct? Sure. A lot of those songs are great R&B songs. I think for me, it feels like whoever came up with this idea or whoever came up with these songs, and I know Essence said that they have been working for months and months and months, probably all year, trying to compile this list. And they were banking it off of, or they were putting it together off of, you know, the vibe, the longevity. When you play it, does everybody in the room like sing it and have a whole lot of energy to it? You know, what songs really defined the generation that they were in, or what songs really like changed and shifted how R&B is and how it's viewed. Like, they said they did all of this off of that. But to me, it feels like millennials or younger really had a large hand into the songs that they used and how they even put the songs together. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It feels like some intern in their early 20s or their late 20s, or maybe even not an intern, but just somebody who works for them, put this list together. Because I don't believe that any person in their 50s or their 60s would agree with this list. Not at all. Not at all. I feel like there are a lot of songs that are left off. And I also feel like some songs were added strictly for the fact of like politics, so to speak. You know, like they want to make certain artists feel good right now because they might be having a moment or whatever. But a lot of those songs on there, especially some of the newer ones, I'm not going to lie to you, they are not better than some other R&B songs that they did not put on there. Okay, but again, I understand, like, this is what it's for. Essence and others will put together their top whatever, these lists, these arbitrary lists that really can be debated based off of, like, it's subjective, you know? Like, everybody's going to have a different opinion on it, and you really can't narrow it down to an ultimate, this is the best top 50, because if we're being honest, a lot of artists that they had on there would have songs, like multiple songs up there, and a lot of artists that they missed out on should have been up there instead of some of the ones that they had from like the 2010s and the 2020s. There are so many other great R&B songs that they left off of this list. And even then, some of the artists that they did pick, that's not even their greatest R&B song. You pick an Usher Superstar, That is not his greatest R&B song. I'm sorry. And that's not Michael Jackson. Heaven Can Wait, really, as his best R&B song? No, I can't. I can't get G with that. I'm sorry, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not gonna allow for Essence to piss me off to the point where I'm making my own list. I just understand what it is, and they did their job. So I'm gonna give them their 10s because they got us all talking about it. Even though I just feel like it's kind of disrespectful if you're not gonna do it right. And I understand like the politics of it all, but they left like Chris Brown off. They left R. Kelly off. Like R. Kelly, they say, is the king of R&B. And even if you don't want to put him in there for whatever, Jacquees feels like he's the king of R&B. So they ain't even put Jacquees in it. Crazy work. They didn't even put Bobby Brown on the daggone list. That's how I know it's just for us to get to talking, and they did their job. They did their big one because we all are talking about it. But I would love to know how y'all feel about this list. And do you feel like there were some songs that were left off? Do you feel like there were some artists that were left off? Because if we're talking greatest R&B songs of all time, nah, I think if anything, they should have just said, this is what Essence put together for their own personal list out of all of our workers that we have working together. But to say like, you feel like you worked really hard on this, y'all got it for sure. But those are just my juicy thoughts for the week, you guys. There were so many other things that we could have got into, but I might just save them for next week because at some point I do feel like we need to talk about this whole WNBA situation going on and them making the rules for what a woman is and what it's not, and should they allow trans athletes to play in their league. And we got some former NBA players saying that they are declaring for the draft. Like, it's a lot of drama, a lot of juice going on with that. But also there was this teacher who broke down in tears over the fact that his seniors could barely even put together 2 paragraphs, and it just broke him down because the literacy rates of our students today is piss poor, and nobody is talking enough about what the solution is to help our children. You know, our children are the future, and if they can't read or write, we got bigger fish to fry. Okay, but I might get into all of that next week, so make sure you guys still stay tapped in. But I want to know your juicy thoughts, so please hit me up over on social media at CarrieNoni_. That is CarrieNoni_. I would love to know your juicy thoughts on all the topics from this week, actually. Or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment down below so I can see how you guys feel about it. But that is going to wrap up this episode of Brain Squeeze, your go-to drop of juice for what is happening right now. I am your girl, Carrie Noni, aka Noni Juice, always keeping it juicy. And Lord willing, I'm going to catch you guys in my next episode. I hope you guys have a great weekend, a safe weekend, a fun weekend, and yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next episode. But I appreciate y'all so much for tapping into the episode today. Bye.